Hello and welcome. This is Captain Aquarius doing business some of the time now in 2016 as Dan First, coming to you with the first in a series of podcasts that I intend to make in this marvelous, transformative year of 2016, so amazingly full of potential and excitement, so full of it, in fact, that many people are scared by the opportunity itself. We are going to do a series of podcasts on what are called the lunations, that is, the moments just before the new moon and also at the full moon, these intervals of time that come maybe 2 weeks apart, at which we observe the playing out of the lunar cycles and the activities of the other planets in relation to it, which this year comes right after the March equinox, which in the northern hemisphere is the spring equinox. It came a little early this year because of the position of 2016 as a leap year. It is being made right at the point of the full moon in the month of March, which is the culmination point, really, of a series of extraordinary alignments that we have seen this month, with so many planets concentrated, especially in the sign of Pisces, and now as planets move forward and the Sun himself is in the sign of Aries, more planets are moving into Aries as well, as the month of Aries in the annual solar calendar begins. There is a chart for this moment in time, which I've posted on my Aquarian Airlines blog. So if you just go to Aquarian Airlines, you will find it, and you will see the diagram, the image that I will be referring to at least a little bit in this podcast, because the packing of the planets into this alignment is really so dynamic and so intense that I don't want to get us bogged down into a lot of detail. The key features of the chart are that the Sun in Aries is exactly opposite to the moon in the sign of Libra. That's why this is called the Libra full moon rather than the Aries full moon, because Libra is the sign that the moon is in when she's opposite to the Sun in Aries. The dynamic of the full moon in relation to the rest of the cycle is that at a black moon, that is, at the beginning of the cycle, the moon and the sun are in exact alignment with each other. They're in the same point in the zodiac to the minute. And this is the point, therefore, during the moon's window of invisibility, when the moon and the sun are in exact combination. This is the moment of complete potential. This is the time when new energies originate. This is the time of beginnings. This is the time of preparing to launch things which should best be put into motion 2 days later at the new moon, which is what happens when the first thin crescent of the moon appears in the sky looking like a cup. And this means, therefore, that this is the moment of launching the powerful intentions that have been formed at the black moon. That's why this is such a powerful time for intentional work that we do individually and for intentional ceremonies, especially ceremonies that are reinforced by vibrations of sound. But now at the full moon, this is the completion point. This is the time when the energies that have been building for the last couple of weeks come to their release, to their fruition. And so naturally, it is very auspicious and powerful that this happens right at the point when the sun has just moved in to the sign of Aries and the new year has begun. This is a very Piscean year, 2016, appropriately enough in general terms, because we are in the transition now from the age of Pisces that has been in effect for more than 2,100 years and which is now yielding gradually to the age of Aquarius. And this is why we are seeing the old Piscean hierarchies and structures gradually dissolve and collapse, even though, naturally, those whose interest it is to keep these things standing up and to reinforce the illusion that they are still powerful will be creating constant propaganda to the effect that things are the same as they were, our economy is strong, our army is ready, all of these nonsensical things that have nothing to do with the reality of anything on the ground, but have everything to do with the themes of propaganda that have to be created at this time. Because Pisces is the sign ruled by Neptune, and this is the sign of spirituality, mystical consciousness, dreams, imagination, intuition, empathy, the fantasy-based arts of theater and music and dance. How wonderful! What could possibly go wrong? Well, the other end of the Piscean value spectrum is that it is also the sign, and Pisces, the zodiac sign, Neptune, the planet ruling the sign, that have to do with all kinds of altered states of consciousness, ranging from meditation, dreams, imagination, shamanic journeys, out-of-body experiences at one end of the scale, to alcohol, drugs, tobacco, victimhood, fraud, deception, energy vampire behavior, enabling games, manipulation through helplessness. All of these things are part of the Piscean spectrum, which is why what we are seeing now, you see, is a kind of very dramatic split between those who see this as a moment of empowering themselves, of tapping their best energies, and building alliances rapidly and powerfully with other like-minded and like-hearted people, and on the other hand, people who are given only to separation consciousness, who are endlessly putting up barriers and divisions and judgments between themselves and the other people. And we see this in extreme terms, as we usually do in an American presidential election, when these people who think that they are going to be capable of governing the country effectively, if and when they win the election, have come through a period of 2 years of endlessly lacerating and trying to destroy each other, and the extremes could not be more dramatic and palpable right now. On the one side, with Bernie Sanders, the socialist Democrat, gathering a tremendous movement of millions of grassroots supporters, and on the other hand, Donald Trump, the Mussolini wannabe on the other side, who is endlessly reinforcing the prejudices, the hatreds, and the separation mind of his audience. It is all part of the scenario, and it doesn't pertain only to this month of March, when the sun moves from Aries into Pisces, that we are moving to the end of now. This is going to continue to be part of our scenario now, because we are moving from the time when the planet Uranus, the revolutionary, in the violent, impetuous, fiery sign of Aries, and the planet Pluto, the lord of death and regeneration, in the sign of Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn the Reaper, have been at a 90-degree angle to each other for the last 4 years, thereby creating conditions that come always when we are in a position when these two planets are at 90 degrees or opposite to each other or in the same position at a conjunction. This means that revolutionary actions occur, regimes fall, profound changes occur in our societies, our philosophies, our technologies, our worldviews, everything. What happens differently now, however, as this Uranus-Pluto square begins to dissolve, as the faster-moving planet Uranus now moves forward, is that we are in a time now which is ruled mainly by the activities of the planet Jupiter, who is connected with different institutions of authority and power, Saturn, who is the spiritual teacher, the taskmaster, the one who creates and enforces the rules of the sacred